Coming to you live from Ursprung Gymnasium in Baldwin Wallace University. Welcome inside our coverage of the OAC quarterfinals. It's the 5 seed, the Heidelberg Student Princes, and the 4 seed, the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets, live tonight on bwyellowjackets.com. Glad to have you on board. I'm Brendan Gulick, and this is, by all accounts, not just because it's a 4-5 matchup, but really should be a good game. These two teams played each other really tight in both regular season contests. The Yellow Jackets snuck past Heidelberg by 1 point way back on December 4th, 61-60. And then a little more recently, back in late January, they beat the Heidelberg Student Princes here by 3, 70-67. So the Yellow Jackets are 2-0 against Heidelberg this year, but in one-possession games, you kind of throw that out the window. Baldwin Wallace, of course, trying to defend their OAC tournament championship crown. They won the OAC tournament last year for the first time since 2006. And they are hoping to make a run here again in 2020, knowing that this could be a really challenging week. But last year they won all 3 games on the road, and they're looking forward to seeing what they can do here against a Heidelberg team tonight. You don't have to play everybody else in the league, just got to play the one game in front of you and see what happens. All right, let's give you the starting lineups. First for the 4 seed, Baldwin Wallace, 14-11 on the year, 10-8 in conference play under fifth-year head coach Tom Heil. At guard, a senior from Brunswick, Michael Quiring. At guard, a freshman from Massillon Jackson, Anthony Mazzio. At guard, a junior from Medina, Luke Schaefer. At forward, a senior from Mayfield, Alex Nara. And at forward, a junior from Chagrin Falls, Drew Sova. For the Heidelberg Student Princes, who finished the season with a record of 11-14 overall, they were 9-9 in OAC action. Under head coach Andy Buhai, here's their starting lineup. At guard, a senior from Columbus, Tamal Watkins. At guard, a senior from Lima Central Catholic, Josh Dixon. At guard, a junior from Cincinnati, Dylan Woods. At guard, a sophomore from Shaw High School out on the east side of Cleveland, Emmanuel Purdue. And at forward from Spencerville, Ohio, a junior forward, Bailey Croft. Heidelberg in black, Jackets in white, and the 2020 OAC quarterfinals are underway here in Berea. The winner of this game will play the winner of the 1 versus 8 game. The Mount Union Purple Raiders and the Otterbein Cardinals. Mount Union leads that game 47-28. Number 7 ranked Purple Raiders nationally have had a terrific season, and they were the regular season champions here in 2020. After an opening jump shot misfires, the Jackets have it for the first time. Marietta finished as runner-up in the conference this year after winning the league each of the last, at least a share of the title, I should say, each of the last 5 years in a row. Quiring pulls up, fades away, and misses. Marietta has an 8 o'clock tip against Wilmington. Marietta, BW, and John Carroll all hosted men and women's games tonight. So there were 3 8 o'clock tips, and the number 1 seed Mount Union tipped off at 7. So Marietta's got Wilmington coming up. John Carroll will host Capital. That game is about to start. And of course our game here in Berea. Slow start on the offensive end on both sides here. A good little cut to the basket. Josh Dixon for 2. Here comes Quiring in the forecourt. Michael Quiring hit the 1,000 career point threshold toward the end of the regular season. That one is up and good. 2-2 tie. Pretty awesome for Quiring, who's been a great player for the Jackets throughout his career. Down the right side, rejected. Dixon denied by Alex Nara, who has easily been Baldwin Wallace's biggest, I guess, surprise this year. He certainly was not as impactful the last couple years as he was this year. But boy, did BW need him in a big way when Ty Colombo went down and was slowed up by a knee injury. Drew Sova playing tough defense underneath. And we get a foul, a little scuffle on the floor. Nothing crazy, but no basket for Bailey Croft. 2-2 tie, 2 minutes in. Early on, Capital leads John Carroll 9-8. Wilmington Marietta hasn't tipped off quite yet. And we'll let you know an update on Otterbein and Mount Union as it becomes available. And it looks like it's 8:51 left in the second half. Mount Union out by a lot, 53-32. So the number one team in the league this year doing their job so far. Nara underneath, up and over the side of the rim. 4-2 Jackets. Kind of has the feel that this game could really be punch and counterpunch all night. Good drive from Purdue with the left hand, and it doesn't drop. Mazzio now has had a very productive freshman season. Acquiring. Good crossover. Silva wants to hand it back to him, but instead takes himself. All right, Bailey Croft picks up his first, team first. Acquiring. Oh, what a sweet move. Splitting the defense. Finds Schaefer for the spot three, and it doesn't drop in. Anthony Mazzio had maybe one shoelace on the brown paint. Good drive from Q, good shot from Schaefer, good effort from Mazzio, but sometimes it just doesn't work out for you. By the way, congratulations to the Yellow Jacket ladies. Dug themselves out of an early hole in the first game of the night, and they had a big win as Tamal Watkins puts in the three. And a big win over Otterbein, 87-59. They are 24-2 this season and on their way to host the semifinals on Thursday. Nara with a left hand. Oh, it came off hot, but it still banked its way home. Alex Nara lays it in with the left hand. He's got 4, and the Jackets lead 6-5. Little touch shot from Dixon. Mazzio pulls it away. Silva. Lobs to Mazzio. Acquiring now. Michael tries to drive the baseline. Good defensive rotation. Silva. Boy, he tried so hard to lean into it, just couldn't get it done. Pretty good defense there from Bailey Croft. And then Tamal Watkins buries a triple try. Andy Buhai with 8 points from Tamal Watkins has his student Princes out front. 8-6, 5 minutes in. Backdoor cut, Schaefer up with the right side, and it's a blocking foul. Heidelberg didn't like the call. They might have been justified in that. It's on Croft. That's his second. So we're going to see some depth tested in Heidelberg's post play with Croft heading to the bench here shortly. Mark Klanek, James Duke, and Chuck Dockin are 3 officials here this evening. Zalba and Colombo on for BW. All right, Kirk Jacobs, Logan West Holmes, Seth Homan all checking in for Heidelberg. Jackets taking care of business from the free throw line. No problems there. Tied at 8. Still plenty early in the game. Let's see what BW's got in store here. On the right side, trying to defend Emmanuel Purdue. Pretty good at creating his own jump shot, Purdue is. Watkins off to the hot start, but mishandles it there. Purdue back to help him, 5 to shoot. Drives on Zalba. Colombo got his hands on it, knocks it out of bounds with 2 seconds on the timer. Gonna have to be a pretty quick catch and shoot. Maybe time for 1 dribble on the inbound. Deflected out. Now there's 1 second on the timer, but it still stays on this end. Trying to find Purdue. Bounce it in. Oh, Nara picks his pocket. Seth Holman never really had a good handle on it. Nara with great defense. Quiring's 3 rims away. 8-8 tie, 14:06 and counting. We're in our first half. That was kicked by Purdue, and frankly, I think everybody in the gymnasium saw it. That was kind of comical. Kicked it right back up into his grasp. A couple of changes now. Purdue and Watkins check out. Let's see. Dylan Woods has just returned to the floor. And Nakai Taylor checks on for the first time. Jackets get called for a foul. It's been a much better year for Heidelberg here in the 2019-2020 season. Pretty frustrating last year, finishing the year with 5 straight losses. We were 8-18 a year ago, but 2-11 away from home. And they lost the OAC quarterfinals against Mount Union. Ended up as the conference runner-up. That was better work by the Student Princes there. Their last win came against John Carroll actually last year, and then they thought they had a little momentum. Back-to-back wins going into the meat of February and couldn't win another game. And this season it's been kind of up and down. They've had some good moments. They've had some really frustrating moments. But so far, the Student Princes are shooting it okay. Obviously, Tamal Watkins is off to a good start, but a basket there from Logan West Holmes. Michael Quiring answers quickly, 10-10. Heidelberg 4 of 11 shooting. The Jackets are 4 of 8 from the floor. Working around the perimeter. Kurt Jacobs is out there too. This is West Holmes driving left side, and he throws it away. Zach Sabula on for the Jackets, his first appearance of the night. Seth Holman checks out. And Josh Dixon returns, so now it's Naki Taylor, Josh Dixon, Dylan Woods, Kurt Jacobs, and Logan West Holmes. Sweet move by the Menor Cardinal. Good job, Zach Sabula. And head coach Andy Buhai is infuriated. Calls a 30-second timeout. 12-10 Jackets, 12:41 left in the first half of the OAC quarterfinals from Baldwin Wallace. (12-10) Jackets lead by 2. 12 minutes, 35 seconds left in the first half. Glad to have you on board for what could be the final game of the regular season and OAC tournament. For both these two teams, they're probably both pretty safely in a must-win scenario. I have a hunch that both sides are unlikely to go to the NCAA tournament unless they win the tournament. And the conference side, Jackets at 14-11. They were not in the regional rankings, so something rather odd would have to change, I would think. And Heidelberg 3 games under 500. Unfortunately, that's not going to get them into the field of 64. So going to have to win the OAC tournament. West Holmes banging around with Colombo, up and under. The Mikan drill works out nicely. 12-12 tie. .11:53 and counting. And a foul will have us a baseline inbound coming. Let's see. The foul's on Dylan Woods, his second. So both Woods and Croft now with 2 personals. Might put Heidelberg in a little bit of a pickle. See if they can work through it. Colombo, headband and all tonight. Good try, didn't work. Tyler's a gamer. I mean, you can't question his want to, his desire. He is starting to feel the effects of playing a lot of competitive basketball for a long time, and his body at times breaks down a little bit on him. But he's such a leader for this team. His teammates rally around him so well. It was tough to see him miss some time this year, but glad to see that he's making a meaningful contribution now here toward the end of the year. Averaging just under 17 minutes a game, and he thumps his chest as he banks one home. Ty Colombo, +1. Logan West Holmes called for his first team 5th. Only 1 foul called against BW. Heidelberg is 1 away from the limit. 11:05 left in the first half. Seth Homan back on the floor here. Colombo connects. And Tyler checks out. Drusova back in there. Jack Listowski on the floor. Haven't seen too much of him yet tonight. Listowski, Sabula, Zalba, Sova, and Mazzio. 5 jacket defenders here. Inside 11 minutes left in the first half. Good little back and forth effort, but Mazzio eventually called for the body check foul. Lobbed inbounds, Homan. Watkins. Dixon. Not quite. BW's doing a fairly good job on the glass. Teams are even at 8 rebounds apiece, but not too many second chance opportunities yet for Heidelberg. As Jack Listowski puts one home, and the BW lead balloons to 5, 17-12. Couple of ball fakes from Purdue. The Cleveland kid bobbles it out of bounds. Oh, it's whistled off BW. Well, it certainly took an awkward bounce. Hard to tell for sure without a replay, although admittedly, kind of thought Purdue hit that one out on his own. Great design. Drusova recovers. Watkins did everything but score, and Sova made sure he didn't. Terrific news for Drusova. Good turnaround, quick trigger. Sova wasn't ready for it, but Homan, alligator armed it. 17-12, we're halfway through the first half. Tom Heil barking at his guys to get moving on the offensive end. Zalba finds Sova, easy bucket. Timeout, Heidelberg. 30-second timeout. It's 19-12, a 7-0 run for the Jackets. Coverage of tonight's game presented to you by the Cleveland Clinic Sports Health Division, the official healthcare provider for BW Athletics. And also by American International. If you require a company with proven performance, rely on American International. John Carroll is blowing out Capital tonight, 29-13. Wilmington and Marietta just recently underway 1 minute ago. Mount Union 67, Otterbein 51. And they've got just about 2.5 minutes left. So it looks like the Mount Union Purple Raiders are in good shape, which means the winner of this game will head to Alliance on Thursday night for an OAC semifinal contest. Of course, the Jackets won the OAC tournament last year on that same floor down at Mount Union. Kurt Jacobs subs out. All right. Taylor is back in the game. Purdue and Watkins, Taylor, Homan, and West Holmes out there for Heidelberg. This is Yellow Jacket point guard Shane Zalba on the floor for Michael Quiring right now. Lostowski turns around. That was open, and he makes it easy. Good working the ball around. Lostowski with 4 points. He, Nara, and Sova all have 4 early. Colombo with 3. Q, Zalba, Lostowski, Schaefer, 2 apiece. Good balance for BW. 12 of Heidelberg's 13 points have come from either Watkins or West Holmes. First personal on Zach Sabula, team 4th. Naki Taylor out of Groveport Madison High School, down in the greater Columbus area. Good tuck by Purdue, and as he flipped it back to his left hand, put it in there. This is a really athletic, borderline acrobatic play. Sova. All right, Alex Nara coming back on for Jack Lostowski. Heidelberg down by 6, 21-15. 8:32 to play. Purdue back to the bucket, banging around, gets the most out of it, rolls it over the rim. Manuel Purdue has 5 points, 21-17. Zalba saw an opening, took it, little contact, not enough for the whistle. What full court vision. And Heidelberg smokes an open layup. Oh my goodness. It was a terrific pass from Tamal Watkins to Emmanuel Purdue. But Purdue couldn't figure out a way to put it home. And then Watkins called for the foul off the ball there. First foul on Watkins, and now Heidelberg's at the limit with 8 minutes to play. Yellow Jackets on the season have been a little lackluster from the free throw line, averaging less than 67%. Baseline inbound for Quiring. Didn't really expect much different between these two teams after they played a 1-point and 3-point game earlier this season. Figured it would be pretty competitive. 10 to shoot. Nara. Good bounce pass underneath. Sova absorbs it and scores. Heading to the free throw line for one more. Sova with 6. And the Jackets lead by a half dozen. First foul on Naki Taylor, and now he heads out. Josh Dixon back in the game for him. Remember, Dylan Woods and Bailey Croft both sitting on the bench with 2 first-half fouls. Neither one of them have scored yet tonight. Meanwhile, all 17 Heidelberg points have come from Watkins, Purdue, and West Holmes. The first 8 from Watkins. Jackets lead by 7. Purdue backing down Nara, gets him to leave his feet, and now he's going to the free throw line. So Nara commits his second, team fifth. I'll be interested to see if Nara stays on the floor here. He's telling the guys over there, hey, leave me out here. I'm okay. Question is, do the Jackets want to take that gamble? They're not going to put Ty Colombo back in. They're trying to manage his minutes. And so BW is going to go a little smaller here. Jake Snyder is coming on the floor. And that means a four-guard set for Tom Heil's side. And Dylan Woods does return. Woods has to be really careful not to pick up a third foul. Woods replaces Watkins. The free throws, 24-19. Now Purdue comes out. Kurt Jacobs back on. John Carroll in the 3-6 game leads Capital by a lot, 32-16. In the 2-7 game, it's early and tight. Marietta 8, Wilmington 6, 4 minutes in. Otterbein and Mount Union is not close with 1 minute left to play. And the Jackets can't get it done. Three ball from the corner, did not drop. Good looking shot from Woods, but Silva grabs the rebound. Mount Union leads by 16 with less than a minute to go, so it's just about official. Silva will get foul shots. Winner of this game is going to play the Mount Union Purple Raiders, who last year were tri-champions in the OAC regular season. Marietta, Capital, and Mount Union all finished last year as tri-champs. But for whatever reason, Purple Raiders were left out of the NCAA tournament last year. Even though they went 22-6, 14-4 in the league, they were one of the first teams left out. Well, this year they're 22-3 going into tonight. Doggone it, Silva missed them both. 25-19. Beg your pardon, missed the second of the two, made the first one. Either way, good block by Quiring, better persistence from Woods. Now Q is pressuring Homan. It's a big senior class for BW, and they were a huge part of last year's title team. Snyder grabs the miss. Tom Heil and company wanted to travel. A lot of seniors for BW, 8 in total. Quiring, Sabula, Troy Massa, Jack Listowski, Alex Nara, Ty Colombo, Jake Elbin, all seniors. And who knows, maybe playing their final games. It's a pretty chippy one. On the other side for Heidelberg, Tamal Watkins, Prince Benson, Josh Dixon. Seniors for Heidelberg. Dixon's been a good player in this league for several years now. Apparently there's a foul call there on the floor. Oh, you know what? No, they say no foul. Instead, just a jump ball. Okay. That's a hand check foul on Mazzio. So we've had a lot of whistles here in the first half. Both teams trying to work their way through it, and it's been fairly low scoring. Jackets have connected on a good number of shots. I mean, they're shooting 56%. But you'd think, considering their shooting percentage, they'd be a lot further ahead. BW has not hit a single three-pointer yet, 0 for 2, and that's very unlike them. I believe Heidelberg just called a timeout right before the inbound violation. All right, full timeout on the floor, 5:56 left in the first half. Heidelberg calls their third timeout of the first half. And we'll step aside on BWYellowJackets.com. Cruising along in the first half of the OAC quarterfinals. Baldwin Wallace 25, Heidelberg 19. As the Yellow Jackets and Student Princes go to toe-to-toe here in, frankly, what was expected to be a pretty good game, and so far has played out that way. It's been a little disjointed at times. I don't think there's any doubt about that, but neither team is led by more than 7 points. All right, Taylor in some trouble, and he buries a 3-ball. Actually, you know what? Taylor had it off the inbound originally, but he passed it over to Watkins. Tamal Watkins was the one that hit the 3. He's got 11 of Heidelberg's 22. Drusova certainly got a height advantage. Can he find an open man here in Snyder? Schaefer, beautiful ball handling. It's as pretty as you want it to be, but it didn't look good enough, and Heidelberg is hot at the foul called underneath the basket. They thought Drusova was boxed out legally. Ninth foul on the Student Princes, first on Kurt Jacobs, but it sends Drusova to the free throw line for a 1-and-1. Well, let's see if Soba can lengthen the lead. Yes, 26-22. Trying to make it a 5-point game. Got them both. Good work from Drusova. What a first half from Drew. 10 points. He's hit 5 of 6 from the free throw line. Or I should say 4 of 5 from the free throw line, in addition to 3 of 4 from the floor. Zalba picks up the loose ball. Soba, the leading scorer for the Jackets, with 10. Tamal Watkins leads all scorers with 11. Under 5 to go in the first half. Jackets trying to get back into the OAC semis. They've had great success in this tournament in years past. That one gets knocked out of bounds. 2 seasons ago, BW got to the semis, and unfortunately they were bounced at John Carroll. It was the year the Blue Streaks beat Ohio Northern in the tournament title. Soba got stuffed, gathered it back in, and then had it pulled away from him. And then Heidelberg can't handle it. They kick it out of bounds. Lucky break for BW. 3 years ago, when this year's senior class were freshmen, the Yellow Jackets were playing for an OAC championship down at Marietta, but fell short against a terrific Pioneers team that year. Soba bangs another one home. 12 points for Drew, 29-22, BW, 4:29 left. Taylor stumbled, bobbled it, and kicked it out of bounds. Good work from Shane Zalba. Kurt Jacobs leaving the floor. Now Purdue, Dixon, and Watkins are all out there with Taylor and Homan. This is certainly a small lineup for Heidelberg. Watkins 5'10", Dixon 6 foot, Woods 6'1", Taylor 6 foot. Homan, the only guy with any real size at 6'4". And a pass from Zalba, lobbed underneath, too high for Sova, which is kind of hard to do for a 6'8" guy, but that's the case. Purdue. Now Dixon, back to Homan, great find. Really good look. Dixon made everybody think he was going up with it, and then all of a sudden wrapped the ball right back around Sova's back. Turned into an easy bucket. Homan's first 2 points, 29-24. 3:35 left in the first half. Quiring on an island. Still no threes for the Jackets in the first half. That's only their 3rd try, as Drusova gets to the rim and bangs it home. Boy, this is such a different kind of play for BW. Anybody who's watched this team at all the last 5 years under Coach Heil knows they like to chuck it from deep, and they don't really play very much in the post. Sova had his pocket picked. Almost a travel. Not only do the Jackets shoot a lot of or score a lot of threes, they'll throw up a bunch. A foul on the floor. But in this first half, BW has only attempted 3 3-pointers. They must think they could continue to just bully Heidelberg underneath with the size advantage that the Student Princes give BW a lot of times. Meanwhile, Bailey Croft comes back on. He's been sitting on the bench forever with those 2 fouls, but Sova's having a field day and nobody can stop Drew right now. This is a heck of a first half. Sova 14 and 8. We've still got just less than 3 minutes before halftime. Well, I don't blame Coach Buhai for bringing Croft back in and saying, look, figure it out. And don't pick up another foul. Back to Sova, on his way to the hoop, found Zulba. Great rotation, better defensive recovery. Schaefer with a bad shot, but Sova easily finished it. Doesn't happen very often that Luke Schaefer puts one up as poor as that. He looks back over at the bench and says, hey guys, my bad. Good job by Drew, who's got 16 already. 33-24, just over 2 minutes to go. Zulba with a steal. Schaefer spins in the lane. Trail past acquiring. Back to Schaefer in the corner. Jackets have been a little fancy here, and apparently it's going to stay on this end. Kurt Jacobs replacing Naki Taylor. 1:52 left in the first half here. Back to Drew. Sova turning around, the big man muscles up, scores again. Drew Sova closing in on a career high. He's got 18 already in the first half. Half of BW's offensive output. Jacobs buries it. That'll help Heidelberg, their 4th first half 3. Acquiring spins around. Sova backdoor finds Zulba, missed it by the rim and got fouled. Tenth foul on Heidelberg in the first half. Jackets lead the game by 8. First free throw for Zulba's good. Drew Sova had 23 points against Otterbein last year. Actually, I beg your pardon, 2 years ago as a sophomore. That is off Heidelberg. January 5th, 2018. We get a warning on the Heidelberg bench. I think it was on one of the assistant coaches. Not sure if it was Corey Harvey or Reed Jacoby, but I'm pretty sure the finger pointing from the official was not at head coach Andy Buhai. Final minute of the first half. Heidelberg has been vocal tonight, although I can understand some of their frustration. Some of it's been self-inflicted, that's for sure. Jackets by 9. Schaefer has it stolen away. Watkins to the rim, and Schaefer blocked it off the backboard. Good recovery by Luke Schaefer. Baldwin Wallace with a 6-second difference between game and shot clock here. Sova actually also tied a career high back in January with those 23 points. Did it against Wilmington. A couple times he's been there. He's got 18 already, and now he's got a great assist. Holy smokes. The big man can thread the needle. 38-27. Good find, good finish, Zach Sabula. The shot did not count. A traveling violation as the horn went off. We'll see if they put any time back on it. Referees are gathering, and both teams are heading to their locker rooms. All right, halftime of the OAC quarterfinals, and Baldwin Wallace has a 38-27 lead over the Heidelberg Student Princes. We'll take a timeout. Hope you'll join us for the second half in roughly 15 minutes. You're watching Yellow Jacket Basketball live tonight, bwyellowjackets.com. Ready to go for the start of the second half in what will very likely be the final game of the season for one of these two teams. The Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets and the Heidelberg Student Princes in the OAC quarterfinals tonight. Win and you move on to play in alliance against the #1 seed, the Mount Union Purple Raiders, on Thursday night in the OAC semis. The loser's season is over. Quiring looking for Nara underneath. The Jackets have an 11-point lead, 38-27. They played fairly well in the first half, mostly because of this guy. Drew Silva's a pretty impressive big man. He's having a great game tonight. 18-9 through 20 minutes. That is awfully efficient. As Purdue steps out of bounds. Purdue, Watkins, Dixon, Dylan Woods, and Bailey Croft for Heidelberg. Quiring, Nara, Silva, Mazzio, and Schaefer for BW. Jackets don't have a single three-pointer. I can tell you with almost exact certainty there is no way the Jackets this year have gone an entire half without hitting a single three. That one didn't go. Nara grabs the rebound. The fewest threes in a game that BW has made all year. A couple of times they only hit 5 in a game. 5 of 14 at Otterbein. And they hit 5 of 20 against Capital back on January 3rd as Jacobs misses. Just been a totally different style of basketball. It's been the feed Drew Silva show. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a very different style than we've seen from the Jackets this year. Good effort from Drew. Tried to tip it back. Watkins to the rim. Nicely done. 40-29. Watkins doing his fair share. He's got 13. Heidelberg burned 3 timeouts in the first half, by the way. Mazzio finally, with 17:58 left in the first half, the Yellow Jackets hit their first three-pointer. Rather, 17:58 in the second half. More than 22 minutes without a triple. Dixon. Purdue almost walked with it. Stopped before shuffling a second time and scores. Well, somewhere along the way, Heidelberg's got to get back in this game on the other end of the floor. They're shooting it okay. 36% is not usually enough to win games, but in a tournament, if you allow your opponent to shoot 52%, that's a really tough recipe for success. They've got to defend better. They just don't have much of an answer for Drew Silva right now. Mazzio hit a 3 a moment ago, misses that one. Quiring got boxed out. Good job by Mr. Dixon. Now Watkins, rhythm 3, clanks the back of the iron. Mazzio grabs the long miss. Silva throws it away. Purdue. Silva stared him down but chose not to try and block the shot. And it's 11 for Purdue. And the deficit's cut to 10 for Heidelberg, 43-33. Here's Quiring right side, lobs DiMazzio for 3. Anthony got knocked down, no foul, and a Heidelberg rebound. Watkins trying to be slippery over in that corner. Instead finds Dixon, who shakes off Nara, but can't find room to shoot. Back to Watkins with 10 to let it fly. Small dumps underneath. Croft working around Silva's outstretched arms. Well, that rebound, Silva grabs number 12. He's already got a double-double, 18 and 12, with 4 assists, by the way. Silva's playing that well. Boy, the Yellow Jacket offense right now looks like it's just running in quicksand. This offense does not look good at the start of the second half. Dylan Woods lays it in. His first two. Tom Heil is turning a different shade of red at the moment. Not a happy guy. Mazzio. To his right. Anthony finds Sova underneath. Good passing. Alex Nara, easy bucket. Eight for Alex Nara. 4 of 5 from the floor. He's been pretty effective. Jamal Watkins now. Throws it away from Dixon. Purdue happened to be right place, right time. He goes to the rack with it, scores, plus the harm. 45-37. And a foul shot coming for Emmanuel Purdue. Sova and Mazzio come out. It's Colombo, Zalba, Quiring, Schaefer, and Nara on the floor for the Jackets. This game is getting a little nervous if you're a BW fan. This has not been a good start to the second half. But the Jackets haven't put themselves in a terrible spot. Just have to work through it here. Zalba to his right. Finds Quiring wide open, and Michael almost missed the entire rim. It was so long. Foul on BW. Nara looks like he got hit in the mouth. I think Zalba was trying to apologize for some incidental contact. Disappointing for Q, who couldn't have been more open. There was nobody within 10 feet of him. Second BW foul this half, and the first on Shane Zalba. 5.5 minutes gone since halftime. The Jacket lead is cut to 8. It was 11 at the break. Watkins makes it a 5-point game. String music for Tamal Watkins, 16. Heidelberg's got 5 threes. He's hit 4 of them. Nara, good spin move into traffic and to the strike. So Alex Nara going to the free throw line, where he is right around the team average of 66% this year. First free throws tonight for him. With that miss, the Jackets are now 8 of 11 from the stripe. Schaefer replaced here by Zach Sabula. Now, so far, this has easily been BW's worst three-point shooting night of the season. Just on that fact alone, knowing how frequently they typically shoot threes, you would think that means they're probably losing. But the team is 5 points out front because Drew Sova has had such a great night. Nara grabs that miss. He's been productive this evening, 8 and 4 now. Firing, pops from the right elbow. He got fouled. That was a quick whistle. Not a lot of dispute there. Emmanuel Purdue caught him on the wrist. His second, team second. Elsewhere around the league, John Carroll is bludgeoning Capital 63-36 with 11 minutes left in regulation. Not a good night for the Crusaders. Marietta at halftime. Tight game, but they lead Wilmington 44-38. Quakers shooting it fairly well. Marietta doing their normal thing. Mount Union beat Otterbein today 75-57. Mount Union lost just once in the regular season in league play. Tom Heil calls timeout. 4 points now after the free throws. 47-40. Jackets by 7 under 14. Well, we're getting close to being ready to get back on the floor here, but there seemed to be some kind of an issue over at the scores table with one of the books. I'm not exactly sure what the issue is, although it's the Heidelberg staff that is a little bit more authoritative. And so perhaps the issue was with something related to the student princes. I'm not sure. But it's 47-40, Baldwin Wallace. Maybe a discrepancy over how many fouls a certain player had. I don't know. I think they're going to make an adjustment. Yeah, Logan West Holmes only has 3. He just took a 4th foul off the scoreboard. That must be what it was. Logan West Holmes has 3 personals. Croft and Woods each have 2. That's critical. You can't afford to pick up a 4th foul this early. Alex Nara, speaking of fouls, draws a whistle there. That's his 3rd. He and Mazzio both in a little trouble. Drew Sova on the bench right now. Jack Listowski replacing Alex Nara. You know, there's 2 ways to look at it. On one hand, Sova's been so good, you almost want him on the floor by virtue of his success tonight. But Drew's not a guy that's going to go out and play 40 minutes for you. And even if he does go out and play extremely well, the identity of this team is so different. It almost feels like the offense at times has looked a little disjointed, trying to force the ball to Drew inside. And it's worked, but then when they've had chances from the outside, it hasn't been quite as smooth tonight. There's a 3 from the right corner. Naki Taylor finally hits his first shot from the floor. By the way, Josh Dixon's had a very quiet night, 0 for 6 shooting. Dylan Woods is 1 for 5 shooting. Watkins and Purdue have combined to go 11 for 20. Zach Sabula makes it rain. 50-43, Baldwin Wallace, 5 for Sabula as we hit the 12:30 mark. Ty Colombo, good job hedging the screen. Watkins south of the free throw line, chucks one up there a little wildly, and a foul under the basket. It was on the floor, not in the act of shooting, as Logan West Holmes tried to quickly go back up with it. Heidelberg bringing in some of their regulars again. Purdue, Croft, and Woods all back on. Drew Sova returns for the Jackets. Sova's played a lot of minutes already tonight, just based on his usual totals. He's at 21 this evening, averages 21 per game. Still have more than 12 minutes left. And a foul on Zalba. A little too hands-on with Bailey Croft. That's a bad foul on the Jackets. Still got 1 to give, but I'm not sure they wanted to give it this early. Inbounds comes to Croft. Back to Woods. Raises, nowhere close. Zalba might have gotten a piece of that. And a foul up top. Dylan Woods called for his 3rd, team 3rd. Well, we've had a lot of fouls tonight on both sides. 24 in total. Who can work through it? And Sabula sloppily turns one over. Not a whole lot of life in Ursprung Gymnasium right now. Frankly, the guys aren't really giving folks a reason to get behind them at the moment. It's been rather sloppy. But the lead is still 7. Heidelberg only up 4 in the second half. Taylor. Purdue feeds the key. Back to Dixon. Wildly throws one up and in. Dixon finally gets in the act. 1 of 7 from the floor, his first points. And Purdue called for the foul. His 3rd. Well, things are getting a little interesting on the Heidelberg side. Foul trouble is alive and well. Seth Homan is back in. So now it's Homan, Taylor, Watkins, Purdue, and Croft against Zalba, Sabula, Sova, Lastowski, and Schaefer. Sabula can't get to it. That's okay. No over and back. Shane Zalba. Shane steps down the lane, puts it in. Good strong move from Shane Zalba. And Shane with his 4th and 5th points of the night. Approaching the halfway point of the second half. Jackets trying to just stay alive, live to see another day. Manuel Purdue, another one from the left-hand side. $15 for Purdue, 16 for Watkins. Nobody else for Heidelberg has more than 4 points. The Jackets haven't found a successful equation to stop Tamal and Emmanuel, and they commit an offensive foul here. It's on Jack Lastowski as Michael Quiring returns. (52-47). Haven't mentioned him yet tonight, but he's standing for a moment over on the Yellow Jacket bench, and that is Heidelberg great Brian Schmidt, one of their all-time best post players in program history. A terrific shooter and great rebounder for the Student Princes back in about a decade ago now at this point. He's been out of college for a little while. Good job by Sova getting involved, but apparently got a little skin. So Drew Sova commits his first. That's probably the best news for BW. Their most effective player tonight is not in foul trouble. And it's a 5-point game down to a 4-point game. 52-48. Not getting any better for Capital over in University Heights. John Carroll is embarrassing the Crusaders, 74-47. That's a pretty impressive job by John Carroll there. Marietta 48, Wilmington 43 early second half. Maybe Wilmington is capable of pulling off something great tonight. Marietta's been a consistent tournament team for a while. They were an Elite 8 team last year. Zach Sabula all the way to the rim. A rack attack plus the foul. Zach Sabula had a jetpack strapped to his back. He wasn't stopping. First personal on Homan and 5th on Heidelberg. And Sabula makes it 55-49. Jackets have 5 timeouts, Heidelberg with 3. BW has put Heidelberg in the bonus. Student Princes have 1 foul to give. Another basket from Watkins, give him 18. Zalba sidesteps the defense. Quiring finds Zach Sabula open and hits. (11 for Zach Sabula. Watkins back on the left-hand side. He raises and buries a 3 of his own. Tamal Watkins, who's been a double-digit scoring machine and frankly probably an all-conference player this year. Up to 21. Just 3 shy of his season high. Dropped 24 against John Carroll on the 15th of January. Sova was double-teamed and in trouble, but got some help. 6 to shoot now for Schaefer, Yellow Jackets' leading scorer. And he couldn't get it. Look at Sova! Oh, you better believe it! Drew Soba, 20 points, 14 rebounds. BW by 6 with 8 minutes to play. Homan, no sir. Nobody went for the rebound. What happened there? The Yellow Jackets gift wrap 2 points to Emmanuel Purdue. Quiring with just a 4-point lead. Zalba finds Drew Soba, easy two. That was way too easy if you're Heidelberg. Soba, 2 hands on his head. The big man a little tired. He's gonna have to dig down deep. It's been a great night. 22 points, 14 rebounds, and no answer at all for Drew. 9 of 13 from the floor. He's got the Jackets up by 6. Well, the Yellow Jackets and Heidelberg Student Princes have not played a lot of defense in this second half. Heidelberg shooting 57% since the break. Jackets 53% in the second half and for the game. Somewhere along the way, something's got to give. And for Heidelberg, they just got to hang around as long as they can here. Way too early to feel like you have to start making a move. BW hasn't stopped Heidelberg at all this half. It puts a little more pressure, frankly, I think, on the Jackets to keep scoring as Soba comes up with a loose ball. Drew's the MVP so far tonight with 22 and 14. Quiring fouled in the corner. Logan West Holmes not happy about the call. That's his 4th foul. And now Bailey Croft on for him. Nara hands it back to Quiring. And we roll on. 6:40 and counting. Zalba open for 3. Not quite. Jackets have 3 3-pointers tonight. 3 of 11. Both in terms of total volume and makes. It's pretty low by their standards. Second chance for the Student Princes. Dixon can't shake Nara. Now Woods on Zalba. Dixon again, good ball rotation, good speed offensively. Dixon scores. Heidelberg hanging around. 62-60. And the black and orange are starting to feel some life. The Yellow Jackets led by 14 early in this second half. Heidelberg commits a foul. Kai Taylor commits his second, team 7th. Both teams in the bonus now. And Alex Nara will shoot the 1-and-1. Nara having a good night. And he's certainly hoping that this is not the last time that he'll put on the Yellow Jacket uniform. It's been a roller coaster ride of a career for Alex Nara. He's had some issues here and there. When he's been on the floor, he's been fairly effective, but certainly his best year is his current one. Nifty move from Emmanuel Purdue, and all of a sudden, we're tied at 62. Heidelberg has shaved off an 11-point halftime deficit. They've already scored 35 since the break. Sova. Zalba. Mazzio. There it is. 65-62. In the regular season, BW beat Heidelberg 61-60 and 70-67. Two pretty tight games, and now we are in a white knuckler again. Nara couldn't block it, and the shooter's touch falls Heidelberg's way. Good one for Dixon, who's feeling much better in the second half after a scoreless first 20. Quiring, trying to will it into the hoop, didn't happen. And a foul on Mazzio. Couldn't get his feet set underneath him properly. Mazzio just got whistled for his fourth. Jamal Watkins returns. Logan West Holmes returns. Josh Dixon to shoot 1-1. BW has led for all but 1 minute and 29 seconds in this game. We're tied at 65. And the Student Princes are back out front. "21 from Watkins, 19 from Purdue. Jackets down a point, 4:15 to play. How can they respond to some adversity here? Quiring to the rim, and he missed it. Tom Heil clapping his hands together, trying to inspire his defense. Watkins, long three. Not quite. Drew Silva grabs his 15th rebound. Q picks up his dribble to Zalba now. Knocked out of bounds off Heidelberg. "15 rebounds in this game, most this season by a couple for Drew Silva, but still 3 shy of a career high. 6 to shoot. Quiring fades away. That was short, way out of his hand. Not good shot selection. Surprised he didn't try to go more aggressively at the bucket. The Yellow Jackets, you can feel a little bit of nervousness on their bench right now. Heidelberg by 1. Every possession matters. Another 3, and Purdue bricks it. Under 3 to play. Sova again. Drew turns around, and he's going to the free throw line. Heidelberg wanted to travel. Sova went to the ground because he was fouled. Drew Sova working on a 22-15 performance. The referees are going to wipe up the floor and make sure that everybody's going to be okay. Michael Quiring's had a pretty tough night offensively. 1 for 10. Same story with Luke Schaefer, Yellow Jackets' leading scorer, almost 12 a game this year. He's got 2 points, both from the free throw line. 0 for 5 shooting it. Not going to win a lot of games when your top 2 scorers, who average 22 points per game. Silva misses the free throw. Your top 2 scorers go a combined 1 for 16 from the floor. It's pretty tough to win. The Jackets are feeling the effects of that right now. Sova misses them both, and the Jackets still trail 66-65. Lots of time left. BW 4 timeouts. Heidelberg 3 timeouts. Both teams in the bonus. This is tournament basketball at its best. Watkins circles around. How did he get it past Sova's outstretched arm? Watkins scores 23. And it's 68-65 Student Princes. Finally some life in here, but they're cheering for Heidelberg. Zulba bounced it underneath, out of bounds. 12th BW turnover. Coach Isle calls timeout with 2 minutes to play. Full timeout. Time for the Jackets to dig down deep. Heidelberg looking for a tournament win on the road. They're up 3 with 2 minutes to play. Well, the Heidelberg Student Princes are on the doorstep with still a lot of game to go, but on the doorstep of something they haven't done in a long time. Win an OAC tournament game. Nobody on this roster has won an OAC tournament game in their careers. But they have a 68-65 lead with 2 minutes to play. Going back through Heidelberg's schedule, trying to figure out the last time they won a game in the OAC tournament. It's been since they won the OAC quarterfinals on February 22nd, 2011. It's been 9 years since they won an OAC tournament game of any kind. 3-point lead over the Jackets, the reigning tournament champions. This is a bomb! Tomo Watkins hits a deep three. 26, a season high. Jackets are in trouble. 1:20 to play. Down by 6. Nara lobs to Sova. Drew rejected. Quiring from way downtown. Nara frantically puts it up, and he's going to the free throw line with 1:03. How about this Heidelberg team? They were down 11 at halftime. The winner of this game will play at Mount Union on Thursday night against the top-seeded Purple Raiders. Nara hits the foul shot. And now those 2 misses from Drew Sova loom a little larger on an otherwise fabulous night for the Yellow Jacket big man, who's got 22, 15, and 5. Nara hits them both, 71-67. Next Yellow Jacket foul is 2 free throws for Heidelberg. Jackets still 1-1. Firing picks him up in the backcourt with a minute to play. 3 timeouts for both teams. 26 for Watkins, 19 for Emmanuel Purdue, 10 for Josh Dixon, all in the second half. Watkins trying to make sure he doesn't turn it over with 40 seconds to go. 5 to shoot. Watkins from the left elbow is pure as can be. Stares up to his fans. He's got 28. Schaefer, gotta have it. Nope. Another chance perhaps. Sabula forces it, doesn't go. And Sova is fouled under the basket. Drew will go to the free throw line with 23.6. 1-and-1 coming for Drew Sova. Logan West Holmes commits the foul, he fouls out. Bailey Croft back in the game. West Holmes, 4 points, 2 of 2 from the floor, his total stat line. Jacket ladies are home Thursday in the OAC semis as the #1 team. Baldwin Wallace had an up and down season. It's been a little tougher on the men's side as Tom Heil calls a full timeout. They've had moments this year where the teams looked really good. They won 5 of 6 from December 4th until January 3rd. The only loss, a 3-point loss against Albion. It looked like maybe they put a couple early season losses behind them, but the OAC proved to be a really tough league. The Jackets have played quite well on their home floor this year, losing only twice to Mount Union on the 8th of January and losing to Marietta on November 26th. BW hasn't lost a home game since January 8th, beating Wilmington, John Carroll, Heidelberg, Northern, and Otterbein ever since then. But BW has their back squarely against the wall here. Elsewhere, John Carroll has beaten Wilmington by 30. Beaten Capital by 30, 84-54. Marietta leads Wilmington by just 4 points, 62-58, halfway through the second half. The winner of that game will play John Carroll. The winner of this game plays in Alliance at Mount Union. Jackets are just 4 of 14 from three-point range. Their worst three-point shooting game of the year. But frankly, they haven't put up a high volume of three-point shots until this second half because Drew Sova was so good early on and the Jackets were killing Heidelberg in the paint. But BW hasn't stopped Heidelberg at all in the second half of play. Sova's missed 3 straight foul shots. Heidelberg was just 10 of 28 in the first half. They are 19 of their last 31 from the field. Goodness gracious. And those 4 consecutive misses have marred an otherwise terrific night. I'm sure Drew, after the game, is going to think about what might have been. Not over yet, but if Heidelberg can take care of business from the free throw line, they could put this one away. Two free throws coming for Bailey Croft. If he can at least hit one and make it a 3-possession game, Jackets are in trouble. 21.6 on the clock. Croft misses it. I thought he had 2 free throws. Hold on a second. Well, it's going back to BW. The scoreboard says that, oh, okay, they took it off. They said 9 fouls, not 10. All right, that makes a little more sense now. It's just 1-and-1, my mistake. Jackets dodge a bullet, but they need a 3 quick. Sova scores 11.7. Timeout Jackets. Extend the game as long as you can. Let's see, 3 timeouts for BW, 2 for Heidelberg. Well, there's a lot of pretty nervous Jacket fans here in this arena, and for good reason. They had 3 remaining, by the way. Now there's 2 timeouts left for both teams. Heidelberg played Mount Union twice this year, and of course, they're looking forward to playing the Purple Raiders if they can get there, because they handed Mount Union their only loss of the season, 68-67 back on January 4th. This Heidelberg team is sneaky good, man. Their guards can really play. They're small, but they're athletic. And a foul on Quiring. While that's frustrating, at least no time came off the clock. Just the first on cue. But it's the team 10th now, and so 2 foul shots for Tamal Watkins. He was 81% from the free throw line this season, and he's having a career night. 28 points, and he might help Heidelberg win their first tournament game in 9 years. (74-69). This would make it a 6-point game again. How about 30 for Tamal Watkins? Zalba. Mazzio fakes. His 3 misses. Zalba puts it back up and misfires. And the Heidelberg Student Princes, for the first time since February 22nd, 2011, Heidelberg wins an OAC tournament game, and they're going to play in the semifinals on Thursday at Mount Union. What a night for Tamal Watkins. Heidelberg had a balanced second half. They just couldn't be stopped in that second half after a poor first half. They erased an early 14-point deficit to come back and win by a score of 75-69. Tamal Watkins, 30 points on 11 of 17 shooting. Emmanuel Perdue, 19 points, 8 of 14 shooting. Josh Dixon finished with 10. Nobody else had more than 4 for the Student Princes. Baldwin Wallace, heartbroken as their season comes to a close. Folks here in Ursprung giving the Yellow Jackets a round of applause for a good effort, but a really tough way to close out the season, especially after the success they were able to experience last year, winning the OAC tournament and only graduating 2 players from that team, one of whom is now on the coaching staff, Kyle Nader, the other of whom is here tonight and has just made his way back to the locker room with the team, Jay Battle. The Yellow Jackets have a tough way to close the year.